Hi, everybody. This is Saad for the Sad Truth. Yesterday, my university put out a press release announcing my latest published paper in the Journal of Business Research with two co authors. In the paper, we examined the effects of culture on creativity. As you might imagine, there are individual differences when it comes to the capacity of people to think creatively. Some people are inherently more creative than others. But our quest in this paper was to examine whether there is a specific cultural trait that might either facilitate or hinder individuals' capacity to think creatively. And so we chose the trait of individualism versus collectivism as the trait in question. And we ran brainstorming sessions. Brainstorming is a means by which one can study creative output. And so we ran two brainstorming tasks, both in Montreal, in Canada, an individualist society, and also in Taipei, Taiwan, a collectivist society. To give you an example of the brainstorming tasks, I'll briefly mention one of them. So if you had a sixth thumb, what might it be used for? And so people would brainstorm uh, ideas or solutions to that particular question. And then we coded five key dependent variables. Number one, the number of ideas that were generated within a prescribed time period. People answered these brainstorming tasks both individually and within groups of four. And so, number one was the number of ideas generated. Number two was the quality of ideas that were generated. And this was uh, quantified using independent raters who would read the ideas and then would score them on creativity. And we would then measure what is called inter-rater agreement. In other words, if two judges were to evaluate the same idea, they should hopefully agree on the creative score of that idea. Thirdly, we measured the number of negative verbalizations within the groups. So if someone were to say, well, this is an idiotic idea, this would be coded as a negative verbalization. And then fourthly, we measured the valence of the negative utterances. So if I say, well, this is a silly idea, that's negative, but somewhat less negative than if I were to say, this might be the dumbest thing that I've ever heard in my life. And fifthly, we measured people's overconfidence in their performance. How well do you think that you performed in comparison to other individuals or other groups? And we thought that individualism versus collectivism would have a profound effect on these metrics. As you might imagine, individualists want to stick out. They want to be the ones who come up with the $1 million idea. And so to have them go through a task such as a brainstorming session seems to be much more congruent with their cultural ethos than might be the case with a collectivist society where people are much more concerned about not sticking out of the group, being harmonious within the context of the group, and so on. And so, as you might imagine, individualists, meaning the Canadians, generated many more ideas. They uttered many more negative verbalizations. The valence of their negative verbalizations was greater. They were more overconfident, but the the average quality of the ideas was marginally higher for the collectivist group. And so the conclusion is that certainly when it comes to creativity as measured, in this case by brainstorming performance, culture certainly matters. I hope that you've enjoyed this update on my research. Please subscribe if you haven't done so and spread the word. Take care. Ciao.